Hey, replay viewers, so glad to have you guys here. I had a little bit of a trouble getting in today. I was trying to set everything up with OBS and it was not working very well at all. So no big deal. We kind of go with the flow and deal with it anyway. So if this is your first time here, I want to know about it. So let me know, as you're watching this, if this is the first time you've ever seen one of the live streams. I know it's been a little while since I've done one, but if it's the first time you've ever seen one of the live streams here with me, then just let me know. Put a yes or a no down there so I know who's new and who's been around the block a few times. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done these, so we need to get back on schedule with it because now it's January and everybody is building their business and trying to get things on track, and that's kind of what we're talking about today too. So when you guys do come in, I don't always see the comments coming in. I've got everything on my phone, but you know what? It's still technology. So if you guys do come in, let me know. Just put a little heart or a thumbs up or something like that to let me know. So we've got this one up on my phone so I can hopefully see any of the comments that are coming in. But I do come back to answer these. So if you are watching this later on or something kind of strikes your mind as you're trying to implement some of the things that we're talking about and you've got a question, you can still pop them in even though we're not going to be live later on, because I'll come back and I'll answer the questions for you then. So for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Dawn Martinello. I run DawnMartinello.com. And really it's all about helping entrepreneurs, home-based businesses, mompreneurs, dadpreneurs, solopreneurs, figuring out internet marketing because y'all just don't get it sometimes. And it's confusing with all of the information that's out there. And sometimes what the big guys are talking about, it just doesn't match up with your business. So I have a list of notes here that we're going to go through, and it all stemmed today from yesterday's blog post. So what happened was a couple of days back, Darren Halpern had put a video up, and it was this handy little box. It was index cards that he kept inside this black box, and that's how he was able to create content quickly, easily, and not have to really work about it. And I shared that with you guys on my page because a lot of people, especially people who go through brand shoulders, they're getting very confused at how do we create content and how do we create it more quickly? How do we get more stuff out there? How do we come up with ideas? So I wanted to share that with you guys because A, it's just a really stinking good idea. And B, it was something very similar to something that I use in my own world, whether it be personal or business wise. And it just keeps me productive all the time without trying to figure out all these new ideas. Because you know what, even when Yen can sit here and talk to you guys for hours about whatever topic, when it comes down to sitting and creating something brand new, sometimes it's really difficult to come up with a new topic and people just don't understand what to talk about there. So if you guys haven't watched that video, then as soon as this video is done, I want you to go to the blog post. I'll put a link to the blog post down below, and you can watch the video right there. You can watch Derek's video. And then you can read the rest of the blog post too, because it's got a lot of information on how you guys can stay productive. Because the other thing that people ask me is, how do I keep everything going? Because I'm a single mom. I not only run my own business, but I also project manage a $1 million company as well. And it's a lot on my plate. There is nobody to help out to run errands or to make dinner when things get a little bit crazy or anything like that. The pizza man is on speed dial, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I feel like a really crappy mom when we do that, but it works for us and it gets things done. So how do you stay productive? How do you keep going in your business? How do you build momentum and keep moving forward when you feel like you don't have the time to get anything done? So the blog post really stemmed from all of that stuff. And you guys can read through, there's like 5 different things that I kind of task out for you guys. Really, it comes down to 3 different products for me outside of the project management system that I actually use for business. And it's using my Evernote, using my phone, and actually like a notebook, like literally like whatever notebook I happen to have. This one was actually given to me. Normally, I just go to the dollar store and buy whatever cheapest notebook that is going to be there. So the blog post kind of breaks down when I use those different things. And just like Derek's index cards in his little black box, those kind of things all make up the ways that I'm able to create new content, come up with ideas for videos. It's also how I put all my courses together, all my info products together. But it's, you know, even when I want to come up with a new idea to post on social media, that's where I kind of look to. I look back in my notebook, I look at my phone and look at all of these different things that I want to use. So you guys can go there. There's lots of resources. There's even a video diary. Because if you guys don't know, I'm a super bad procrastinator. I have been all my life. And the problem is that I churn out amazing work when I have a really hard deadline. And that's like my zone of genius in that, you know, those few hours or those few days when I have to get a massive amount of work done. I keep kicking the table and you guys keep seeing everything bounce around. I'm sorry. I got to find something else to do with my hands and my feet. I talk with my hands a lot, if you guys don't know that. So anyway, so I want you guys to watch those things out. And the other thing that it talked about in there, and the reason that I promised to do this video is because it talked a little bit about low tech, so writing in your notebook versus the digital options, and why low tech is actually a little bit better. So I'm not going to get into all of the reasoning and the science and the psychology behind why all of that stuff works. You guys can go read that on the blog. What I wanted to talk about today was kind of taking it a little bit step further. And I was going to pop on and I was just going to talk really quickly about goal setting. And then as I wrote my notes down, it kind of triggered more and more stuff. So it's going to get into actually how you can use some of the psychology that is in the blog post and that we're going to learn about today in your own business. So whether you're just meeting new people and you want them to start warming up to you a little bit, you know, you talk to a brand new lead for something, or you get somebody onto your email list. It doesn't matter what it's going to work. It's all going to work the same way. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to get into a whole lot of psychology that you guys can start implementing right away to make a big difference in your business. So in the blog post, I mentioned that when you share your goals publicly, it's like a huge difference in what it is. And you guys know that, you know, anytime you've ever worked with a coach, if you go and Google, you know, how do I get my goals in 2018? I guarantee you're going to find a shit ton of these blog posts that are going to tell you that you need some kind of accountability. And people know that they need that. But they always want you to go and tell your whoever. The more people, the better, right? And it doesn't matter if it's something you want to do for your business, if you want to lose weight, if you want to quit smoking, it doesn't matter. People are always telling you, share your goals. But they don't really explain why. And I'm really good at giving advice. I'm horrible at taking my own advice, but it's worse when I don't actually know. I'm losing my voice too. Everybody's getting sick around here. If I don't actually know why I'm doing something, if I don't have a really good reason for it, I'm less likely to actually do it as well. So I want to know how things work. And, you know, I think that's why I took psychology in university, because I just love learning how things work and why people work in the way that they do. So I want to tell you about a story. So it really kind of cements everything in for you guys. There was a study, and they took these people and they separated them into 3 different groups, and they showed them a line, just a line. And the study was to ask these people that they wanted them to estimate the length of the line. And each of the groups of the people had different ways that they were going to put their estimation down and go through the study. So the first group, they just said, you know what, I want you to estimate it in your head. Just think of that number, keep it in your mind. That's all you have to do. The second group of people were given those, they call them like magic pads, I think they were. I don't even know if they make those anymore. Do they? You guys will have to let me know if they do or not, if you've seen them. But anyway, they're kind of like whiteboards, right? So we would write with this like little stylus, and you'd write on it and it would show up, and then you lift the page up and it would disappear. Kind of like Etch-a-Sketch, but with a stylus. But anyway, so that's how the second group of people would have to do. They'd estimate the line and they'd write it down on one of those little, you know, quick erase board kind of things. The third group of people, they were given a pen and a piece of paper, and they had to write down what their estimate was, and they had to turn it in to these people that were running the study. So once everybody had their estimation done, they actually gave them some kind of evidence that showed that their first estimation was probably wrong. So I don't know exactly what they did in this study. Maybe it was like, you know, you see a lot of those ones where it's kind of tricking your brain, right? So those different brain illusions, maybe it's something like that. But that doesn't really matter so much as the end result of everything. So once they gave these people the evidence that their first estimation was likely wrong, they gave them the opportunity, if they wanted, that they could change their answer. So they gave each people the opportunity to change it. And then what the study was really trying to figure out was who's going to be most loyal to their very first thought of what they were going to do. Okay, so it's really no surprise, especially when I'm trying to talk to you guys about writing everything down and having some kind of accountability, that the people who were least loyal to their very first estimation were the people who just thought about it in their head, because they had nobody that they were going to be accountable to. Sure, they're not going to get marked, they're not going to be chastised or anything like that, but it's still prevalent that they were the least loyal to their first thoughts. The people who were least likely and didn't actually change, the majority of people who wrote them down and gave them to the people running the study, actually were the majority of people who did not change their first ones, even though they knew that their first estimation was wrong. So it begs to reason, why did that actually happen? And it's actually one of the principles of psychology, and it has to do with feeling like we're consistent in things. We have this absolute innate feeling, we have to have it. It's human need that we want to at least look like we do, but we have this need to be consistent or appear consistent. And I've been reading a couple of books on psychology, and they have study after study, and they seem so comical about some. There was somebody who studied people who, laying out on the beach and asking people to watch their stuff versus people who just watch them get stolen. There's just study after study after study that proves these different principles. And this is not new, guys. Nothing that I'm telling you here is brand new. You can go back in decades and read any kind of psychology book that you want. You're going to find the same kind of things. But it's this need to feel like we are consistent in them. So when these people created their very first estimation of that line, they've kind of made a stand. They've decided that this is what it is. And even though they were giving evidence to the contrary, if somebody else knew what they first thought, they were far more hesitant to change that. Why? Because they wanted to feel consistent. Okay? So when you're talking about writing down your goals, okay, and giving them off to somebody else. And I've got another story in just a second about this, because this one just blows my mind, and I just love this guy. But when you write down your goals, number one, if you look in the blog post, I think I did talk about this part. There's been so many studies, so it might not be. If I didn't, let me know, and I'll tell you guys all about it. But there's different studies that they do, and basically it's whether or not people are going to stay true to what they actually feel, right? Like what they actually said they were going to do the first time. So at the end of this video, before you get all like crazy thinking, why in the hell am I talking about all this? I'm going to show you how you can actually use these things in your business, because I promise, how do you win over new leads and grow your business? I'm going to show you how you can do that and the different things that you can do in your business once we get through and make you guys understand how important this one is. But yeah, I want you to go back and read it and check all of these things out. And let me know if this is interesting to you guys, the psychology of things and implementing it into your business. Let me know. If you think it's super, super interesting and you can put some of this stuff into your business, I want you to leave a 1 in the comments below. If you think this is just a bunch of pooey and far more woo-woo than any of the other things that I ever talk about, you can leave a 2. It'll make me a little bit sad, but I want to know what you guys think about it and whether or not you guys are actually going to find this useful. Okay, so make sure you let me know too. So it's all about feeling like you are consistent in everything. Okay, and it's not just online businesses that can use this. It's not just these, one-off studies of crazy people who are doing different things. Even the toy companies do this. Okay, so if you think about Christmas time, and your kids see all of these commercials, and there's like the new hot toy. Okay, everybody's talking about it. The news is like doing news stories on it. BuzzFeed has all kinds of things of what's going to be hot in 2018 for your kids. And people get this, their kids are writing it down on their Christmas list. They're asking Santa for it. They're asking you for it. They're telling everybody, this is what I want. And swear to God, you go out and you try to find these things and they're nowhere to be seen. And, at first we think, okay, well, it's just so hot that there's nothing there. And I mean, yeah, that's marketing in itself, right? Because if there's a lot of demand for something, people are, there are going to be more people demanding it. When I used to run Avon businesses and I would go and do events, the best time to get any kind of attraction for anybody was when our table had more than one or two people standing at it, because it was like, oh my God, what's happening over there? Oh, there's somebody interested in something. What's going on? I have to have it too. So it's that kind of thing that's going on. But I digress on that a little bit. If you think about the toys and how things work, the lowest time for getting toy sales is right after Christmas. Because now your kid has a boatload of toys. You just spent a whole lot of money. You're not going to go out in January. Why? Because people are worried about getting fit, getting organized, replenishing their life and getting started again. You're not going to go out and do it. So the toy companies generally take a big hit in January and February. So they know what psychology is all about. They know how to kind of use it to their advantage. So what they do is they have this really hot toy, okay? They pump a ton of advertising in it so that in November and December, your kid wants it. And even if you don't tell your child that you're going to get this for them, or if Santa doesn't say, oh yeah, definitely it's going to be there as long as you're a good boy or girl, in your head, you're thinking, okay, this is something that I'm going to get my kid. He really, really wants it. It's like one of the only things on his list. So this is going to be his big gift for this year. You go to the stores and you can't find it anywhere. The reason is because they've understocked it, because they're planning. They have marketing in effect. So they actually understock it. So if you were going to plan on spending $100 on a brand new robot toy that was the hottest thing since, Cabbage Patch Kids, you now have like something that you have to fill the Christmas tree with. I was planning on buying this. Now I have to get other things. So they make sure the stores have all kinds of different stuff, because everything's not sold out, right? You can always find something that you're going to get for your kids. So you spend your same amount of budget because you can't find the one thing that you went in there for. Well, guess what happens in January and into February when their toy sales are generally at a low and most people are just not willing to buy anything? And they start doing a couple of advertisements, remind the kids that it's there, remind mom and dad that they at least thought that this was something that they were going to do. And guess who runs out and buys it? And not only that, but the stores are like overflowing with them. I mean, think about it. If there was 1,000 people in your town that were trying to get this thing, and now there's 500 in stock somewhere and they're still in stock, it's not because it's the hottest thing. I mean, it could be, but the reality is that people are now going out and buying it because they need to feel consistent in what they're doing. And it's a great marketing ploy for the toy companies. And it's the way that they keep their coffers up in January and February when things are normally low for them. Right? Makes a whole lot of sense. And as you guys study, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but as you study more about marketing, I find that I get way more cynical about just about everything. It's kind of like when you learn, about magic, right? You love watching magicians and it's just fascinating to watch. But as soon as you learn some of the tricks, or you see something or you hear something, it loses some of the magic. It loses some of the mystics of it. And the same thing starts to happen to me in business and marketing. It's still really, really intriguing to me, but yeah, it starts to lose a little bit of those things. So how do you guys get this into your own business? Because that's really what we're all about, right? That's why you showed up today, because I promised to show you how you could win over new leads and how you can grow your business. And if you guys are not in a position where you have started marketing, let me know in the comments, because I can show you ways to get started for practically free. If you guys remember back a few years back, there was a couple of case studies that I did on my own story of getting started. I had no money. Bootstrapping was too expensive for me when I started my VA company. So I have ways for you guys to get started in things for free. Now that does come with a little caveat, okay? Because here's the deal, guys. You can't do that forever. I was very lucky in my business. I started getting clients right away. My business was making a profit within that very first year. You can't live like that forever. Okay, you can't expect that you're not going to be paying for something at some point to do what you need to do and grow your business and scale your business and do it all for free. You can't live like that forever. But if you have a viable business idea, if you're working in a network marketing company, or there's something that you want to get going and you are willing to put in the work for it, I can show you how to get started for free so you can get a couple of months, a couple of clients under your belt and get started. So if that's you, you need to let me know in the comments so that I know who to send this stuff to. But I can show you how to get started for practically free and get something up there so that you can start getting your foot in the door with things. Okay, so When we talk about consistency, okay, we know it's one of the principles of psychology. When you employ that in your business, you want to look at it as getting a small commitment from somebody, okay? So if you go and find almost anybody who knows anything about digital marketing, internet marketing, anything like that, and go sign up for their newsletter, and actually this is a great do it anyway. Go find somebody to sign up for, because one of the best ways to learn what other people are doing is to kind of reverse engineer what they're doing. It's not copying, okay? Don't go out and copy people. That's stupid and it's wrong and it's not going to work for you. But it does give you an idea of how things work so that you can kind of come back and figure it out, how you're going to implement it, the same kind of tactics in your business. Because everybody's doing the same thing, guys. They're all doing the same thing. There is no, oh, nobody else is teaching this. Nobody else is going to show you this. There's none of that. If anybody tells you that, it's practically bullshit. So what you want to do is you want to get some kind of a small commitment. So when somebody signs up to your newsletter, okay, you need to look at that as they've already taken that one small step. They've done that one small commitment, okay? And we know that once people do something, they are far more likely to not only continue doing things in that same vein, but that they're going to stick to their guns because they want to look consistent for things, right? You're not going to sign up for something and then never open anything up because that is going to look silly to somebody, okay? And that's why a lot of times you'll see digital marketers will kind of call you out on a few things, and it's not to make you feel bad. It's to make all of these like triggers happen, because you got to remember psychological triggers like this, it basically works. I mean, sure, we've got free will. We know that we should be doing this or we shouldn't be doing that. But these psychological triggers are so ingrained in us that they're like a mechanical response. And that's a whole other story of understanding why we're like that and why these kind of things work. But for now, let's just try and get some of these things on the books for you so you can start to get some big wins. And, I don't care about this. This is the other thing. Sometimes I digress, guys. I'm looking at the time. We've been like 20 minutes. And, I don't like it when people are not willing to share their secrets, because it isn't secret. I want people to do well. There's more than enough business out there for everybody to continue working side by side and doing the same things. So go ahead and take whatever it is that you're doing. If you're not on my email list, you can sign up and see some of these things that I'm talking about here and do that reverse engineering. Go ahead and steal it. But when it starts working for you, just remember who showed you the tricks, right? So you want to get small commitments for things. So when people sign up for things, that's already one of the things that they've done. They're going to keep making those steps forward. The idea in those first couple of emails that you're going to send out, and a lot of industry people will talk to them about nurture sequences or indoctrination sequences. And it's basically just a couple of emails to warm people up, to keep them interested, to get them excited. And what they don't really tell you is to keep that whole flow of doing things, right? To keep those micro commitments going and going and going, because what you start, you're more likely to continue doing. It's just the way it is, because that's human nature. So it could be things like, hey guys, reply to this email, let me know you got it. I do that a lot. I mean, it's great for deliverability, because when people start to reply to your emails, your systems, whether it be Google or Yahoo or Hotmail, and your email server, whatever company you're using, I use ActiveCampaign, Entreport, whatever you're using, they're going to realize that people are actually wanting to have a conversation with you. That means they're probably going to be interested in what you have to say. It's going to boost your deliverability of your email. So there's all kinds of reasons why you want to do things like that. But in terms of psychology, if you can get them to do something, to reply to something, to click over to your Facebook account and follow you there, to click a link in there and go see a blog post, it's a small little commitment that you're going to ask them to do. And as they do things, they're just going to do more and more and more. Okay, that's the psychological effects of what we do. Okay, that's just the way it works. So if you do have something set up already and you don't have some kind of an indoctrination series, or if you do, make sure that you've got something where you're immediately asking people to do something. Okay, just do it. Just do it. We've explained for 25 minutes why that works. If you have more questions, you can always let me know. And two, guys, if as you're listening to this, if you're starting to realize that there's other people that could take advantage of the tricks and advice that I'm giving you here, please share the video. Let them know about it, because not everybody is a fan of my page. Not everybody's going to see it. Some people are going to miss it, and I don't want them to. Which is going to lead into, by the way, the second principle that I'll talk about in a little bit too, second principle of psychology as well. So there's also things with tripwires, okay? So that's an industry term. Some people will call them different things. But when you sign up for a newsletter list, quite often, almost immediately, whether it be on a thank you page, like right when you get, as soon as you click submit, or in that very first email, there's going to be some kind of a request to buy something. And usually those things are like really small amounts. Okay, same deal. If you start doing something, you are more likely going to do something. Okay, if you signed up to my newsletter list, if you clicked a link, you're more likely to say yes to something else, because it's just going to keep everything consistent. Yes, Dawn, I'm interested in your stuff. Yes, Dawn, I'd be more than happy to email you back. Yes, Dawn, I would be more than happy to buy whatever you have. Okay, the reason that those tripwires are usually so inexpensively priced, you'll see a lot of people saying this is valued at $47 or $197, whatever it is. I'm giving it to you today for like $7. And the reason that people do that is because it's a no-brainer for people, okay? If you think about like the supermarket, right? When you're standing in line, you don't see big ticket items there, because big ticket items require research. They, do I have enough money? Do I really need that? They have like sticks of gum, and they have candy bars, and they have things that you always need but always forget that you need, like batteries that aren't going to be very expensive. And they put those things there because they know that they're going to be really cheap and easy to add on to your order. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do any research to figure out if you're going to buy a pack of gum, and it's not going to break the bank when you add a 97-cent pack of gum to your $100 grocery order. So the same kind of pricing that we have in supermarkets and things like that, in those no-brainer kind of aisle purchases, is the same things that we apply to the tripwires. But in terms of consistency, again, it's getting them to do more and more and more, okay? So the other principle that I want to talk to you a little bit about is reciprocity, okay? So basically, people, when you do something nice for them, they want to do something nice for you too. Even if they don't know you, even if they don't even like you. I mean, how many times has somebody that you don't really like done something and you feel the need to return the favor? I mean, at Christmas time, it's the worst. I always talk about, oh my God, what if this person buys me a gift? I should have something set up somewhere so that I can give them something back, because we don't like people to do things for us and not be able to do something back for them, right? Pay it forward. How many times have you gone through a drive-through? I mean, I pay for people behind me all the time when I go to Tim Hortons, and chances are they're probably going to go off and do something for somebody else too. I mean, there's some assholes out there that are never going to do anything for anybody else, but it doesn't really matter. So the whole idea of reciprocity in your marketing, in what you're asking people to do, when you start to ask them to do things, like when I asked you guys to share the video, right? I'm here live. I'm going to spend 30, 45 minutes today. Then I'm going to come back and answer questions. I'm going to do all of these things for you guys. And in return, what I'm asking you to do, I'm asking you just to share the video. That's it, right? How hard can that be? So it's actually, I mean, it would be awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'd love for you guys to share everything I do, but the psychological effect of reciprocity kind of takes into effect. People feel like, okay, she's here. She's going to be giving me all of this information. She's going to be doing some free training with me. I don't have to pay her anything. The least I can do is share this video with somebody, or tag somebody in a comment, or like the video, or whatever it is that somebody's asking you to do. And that, again, is why in those very first few days when people sign up to your email list, that it makes it super easy to ask a little tiny favor of them, okay? So if you're networking and you're meeting people, the same kind of thing can happen. Somebody who may never hand you a business card, if you walk up to them and say, hey, my name's Dawn, I make people like you. That's what I kind of do. Here's my business card. They are going to feel the need to return that in some kind of a similar way. Generally speaking, a business card, or they'll ask you a little bit more about your business. And it may not always work because, like I said, these, there are people who are going to kind of fall outside of all of the different rules of different how we do different things. But these are the general principles that are going to work for you. So try that out the next time you're at a networking event, or, like I said, go into your indoctrination series. If you don't have one already, let me know so I can help you get one set up and give you some ideas for it. But go in there and make sure that you have something where you're asking people to do things, right? Any call to action that you have in any video that you do, that anything that you really kind of have going on, you need to make sure that you are asking for something in return. And the reason being reciprocity. I can't even speak anymore. I need more Timmys, more Timmys. So those are the two principles that I wanted to talk to you guys about today. So the last story that I want to tell you about, there was a study that I was reading. Oh, it wasn't a study. It was an anecdote that I was reading in one of the books. And it was in 1992, there was a political campaign. And the actress, Sally Kellerman, I think her name was, she had lent her name anyway and did some donations for one of the political parties. And somebody asked her, like, why would you do that? And the reason that she gave was, like, 20 years ago, she was moving. She asked a whole bunch of friends, like, hey, I'm going to be moving. I need some people to show up. And I think she asked like 10 people. And the only guy that showed up was the guy that she lent her name to. And that was literally the reason that she lent her name to his actual running in politics. So this can apply to all your businesses. It can apply to your personal life. It can apply to just about anything that you do. And I want you guys to learn more about psychology. So like I said, if you guys are finding this kind of stuff interesting, not everybody is, and that's fine. I find it super, super interesting. But if you guys do find this kind of stuff interesting and you want to learn more about how you can apply this kind of stuff into your business, because it kind of works a little bit like gold, right? Like you don't have to think too much about it. You can just go in and get things done, and it's almost like magic how they're working. So I do want you guys to let me know if you do find this interesting and you want to learn more about the psychology of selling and psychology of why people buy things and why they do things, and really how to get people to do the things that you want them to do without being slimy and gross. So you need to let me know. So again, if you guys like this video, if you thought it was helpful, if there's somebody else that you think should be looking at this video, share the video with them, share it out on your page, tag them in it, whatever's going to work for you guys. And if you have more questions when we're done all of this, if you're going back and you're setting things up and you're kind of confused on a few things, you can leave the questions down below. I will pop in and out over the next week or so to make sure that I answer all of those. But that is it, guys. So I hope this was super duper helpful for you guys, and I am going to be back doing these live videos a lot more than I have been in the past. So I will talk to you guys later.